What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Thursday night live stream here on Drums and Drams. All right, I think we're all good to go here. Give me thumbs up. Make sure everybody can hear me and everything like that. I've got a new couple of adjustments on the setup tonight in terms of audio and video. I don't think it should have been any big changes, but as you know, I just want to make sure I didn't plug anything in incorrectly. So give me a little thumbs up. Let me get a first pour here. Since we're doing a lot of tastings tonight, got a blind flight and everything like that, I always start off with Eagle Rare. It's like a good thing to kind of get me centered a little bit. This particular one is a store pick that I got recently from Beverage Superstore. So this is in a trade or something like that. And, you know, we're going to be sipping some Buffalo Trace products this evening a little bit later as well. So it's a little bit fitting. Cheers to all of you. Let's have a good night. So hit that like button. Let's get some more people in here hanging out this evening. I know Bourbon Van is live right now. And obviously we fight people for that 9 p.m. Eastern slot. You know, that's when a lot of people, the likes, Drew P sometimes is live. I think he went live yesterday. But cheers to you guys. Hope you're sipping on something nice, having a good end of your week. That pick is a little citrusy, but a lot of sweet tobacco in that one. Cool. I see some thumbs up. So we're rocking and rolling on audio video side of things. So cool. All right. Let me say hello to a few people in the chat here. And then we're going to go over what we're going to be doing this evening, kind of the order of things. We'll talk about the giveaway. I have a little surprise up here that we're going to check out in a bit. But first, let me say hello to some people in the chat. Univpoke, good to see you, my friend. I see Uta and Carlo are in the house. Let's see. We got Sugar Kitty with a little German in here. Let's see. We got JG. Good to see you, man. Whiskey cheers. David, let's go. Cheers to you as well, my friend. Jay says, you haven't convinced me to like you yet. Carl, what is up with all this adult content on my cartoon stream? Speaking of cartoons, I don't know if anybody in the chat has watched Mike Tyson Mysteries, but we don't watch a lot of like animated stuff or cartoons. But Mike Tyson Mysteries, if you guys have seen that, It is one of the funniest shows, I think, out there. And every episode's like 11 minutes or something. I think you can probably find it somewhere for free nowadays. But when we started watching it, which was probably the beginning of COVID, honestly, we had to pay like $20, $25 a season or something. We shelled it out because it's a funny show. But those, if you haven't seen them, Norm Macdonald, rest in peace, does one of the voices, and it's just hilarious, guys. Carl, no scotch. I don't understand. Scotch is going to be coming. I've been banking some written reviews for the Patreon and getting a lot of American whiskey done, and scotch is coming. So I'm excited for that. I've got some funny things to share with you guys this evening once we get into it a little bit more. What's up? Daniel P. in the house. Jay is sipping on some Pikesville rye. I think I'm out of Pikesville, or maybe I have like 1 ounce left. I just need to get another one. What's up, Ryan? That might be a new name in the chat. If it is, welcome to the stream. And Lido and Be More Bourbon, welcome, guys. Okay, well, hit that like button on your way in. Let's talk about what we're doing this evening very quickly. So I like to do streams in 3 parts if possible. You guys know I like alliterations. So tonight is the 3 B's. All right, so we've got Buffalo Trace, we've got Bulleit, and we've got Blind Pours. Not in that order. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to get into some Bulleit bottlings. 2 of these are fairly new to me, and those are the 10-year bourbon and then the 12-year rye. You can see I've only had 1 pour of each of these. I honestly forgot that I picked them up, found them earlier today, and I was like, okay, let's take a look at these tonight. And to kind of go along with that tasting, may as well revisit this one and compare it next to these, which, you know, all of these have high age statements on them, but this is the Blender Select Batch 1. We've not seen a second batch of this over the last like 18 months or so, almost 2 years, I think, since this was released. So that's a little unfortunate, but we're going to take a look at those first for the Bulleit portion of the stream. Then I have 3 blind pours in front of me from my beautiful and tricky wife, Sarah. So I'm going to do 3 blind pours this evening, and that's kind of in preparation for Matt Madness. So Matt Madness is coming back this year, which is ADHD Whiskey, aka Matt Porter's tasting competition that he does here on YouTube online. So I'm excited for that, but I got to get training again. I haven't done enough blind stuff recently. All right, and then finally, the last part of the stream, which I think is maybe the most interesting part, is going to be a tasting with a couple of Buffalo Trace products. All right, so I'm going to take E.H. Taylor Small Batch, E.H. Taylor Single Barrel, this particular single barrel. I have the remnants, I should say, of a previous E.H. Taylor single barrel that I had. I decanted it here. And then 2 different John J. Bowmans. Okay, so all of these 5 pours are 100 proof Buffalo Trace distillate. Mash Bill 1, the John J. Bowman might be some Mash Bill 2 in the mix. It's, you know, not totally clear. But the point is, I want to see how these things all stack up between the different barrels, see what the consistency's like, if any of these are remarkably better than the others. And, you know, I'm not going to do it blind. I'm going to do it eyes up, I guess, whatever you want to call it, just so I know what I'm drinking. I also didn't want to do a blind flight and then another blind flight. That just, it's too much blind stuff. All right. And then along the way, I'm going to unbox this. This just arrived like 30 minutes ago from UPS. This is a new aged in ore product. It is sort of a bottle flight travel set, a reusable travel set. I'm going to unbox it here, kind of show you guys what this is. It just came out very recently. I didn't expect it today. So we're going to take a look at that at some point in the stream. All right. So that's the plan. Daniel, I didn't put Rock Hill in here because it's exclusively or explicitly Mash Bill 2, whereas these others are Mash Bill 1, and then John J. Bowman is kind of in the middle. I felt, and honestly, dude, my Rock Hill Farms is not that good, my single barrel. I could throw it in. I still could this evening, especially since I'm not doing it blind. So maybe I'll do that when we get there. I just have it right behind me. Okay. Evan Ray says, what do you think of the new Hirsch 6-year? I haven't gotten one of these. I haven't really been willing to pay the secondary price on that. I will pay for some things, but this Hirsch 6-year that's rumored Willet juice, that's not for me. At least at the secondary price around 180, 200. If I could get one at cost, which I'm not even sure what cost is, I would consider it. Or, if someone sent me a sample. But right now I've been busy stocking up on stuff that I know that I like. I've been buying up cigar blend left and right on secondary, unfortunately, and a couple other bottles. I got a big one I'll show you guys. I can show you here in a second. What else in the chat? Alphonse says, my Rock Hill Farms was a disappointment. Yeah, I've only tried my one bottle that I have, and it's such a disappointment that I'm not encouraged to try to get another one of these things again, unless I find it at MSRP, which is a pipe dream. Okay, cool. So cheers, guys. For those of you just coming in, hit that like button. We'll talk giveaway real quick, and then we're going to get into these 3 bullet pours. Eagle Rare Store Picks. So underrated as everyday sippers. All right, let me get this up. Cool. So tonight's giveaway, in the spirit of what we're going to end this evening with in terms of tastings, that Buffalo Trace portion with the E.H. Taylors. Tonight's giveaway is going to be an E.H. Taylor small batch. I hate to part with this thing, even though it's not like my favorite pour. They're really hard to get. And we've kind of seen a dry spell of these here in Columbus. So I stopped looking for them. But guys, this is the giveaway this evening. Every $5 in super chats will get you an entry. I haven't seen Amy in the house, so I can keep track of super chats tonight and run a randomizer that I will show all of you at the end of the stream, so you can be assured that it's 100% legit. I'll run the randomizer in front of you guys. So yeah. We're going to do that. And then second place, I will give you a sample pack. So we're going to have 2 giveaways. Number 1, the small batch, E.H. Taylor. Number 2, the sample pack. I'll probably throw some stuff in from tonight, maybe a couple of other things, some fun stuff that I like in that sample pack. And if you've gotten samples from me before and you win it, I don't want to send you something I've already sent you. So we'll talk if you've won before. Cool. There we go. DC, man, thanks for jumping in for the first super chats. Oh, this is a line. Hey, Mike, that computer is really a time machine, and in it is Adolf Hitler. Dude, that episode, that's the chess episode, right? Love Mike Tyson Mysteries. Thank you for the amazing hand delivery earlier this week. Yeah, dude, thank you. Congrats on winning that. Good luck tonight on the giveaway, DC. Dude, Mike Tyson Mysteries. If you guys haven't seen it, go watch that show. The Fender Bender episode, that is one of our favorite episodes. JG, thank you for the super chat. 877 MASH now. E.H. Taylor, 877 MASH now. Okay. All right. Topical, very topical. All right. Well, I'll get back to the chat here in a second. Let's get into some Bulleit now. All right. So let me get these in an order. And let me make sure, let me see if I can get get these in the field of view for all of you. Okay, so I'll scoot the keyboard up. Right. I have a feeling I'm going to use a lot of glasses tonight. I have the dishwasher cleared out, the top rack cleared out. Dunny says, Cam, please refresh my memory. Which barrel batch did you like best? I haven't tried 30 and 31. I don't know if Barrel's going to send me 30 and 31. The ones I had were 28 and 29. 28 is more George Dickel forward. 29 is more MGP forward. Surprisingly, I liked the George Dickel 28 a little bit more. Mine had an opportunity to get about 3 to, 3-4 months of air. So maybe that has to do with that minerality kind of dissipating a little bit. So I feel weird recommending batch 28, but when I tasted it in that video that I put out a couple of weeks ago, I really liked it. So You know, it's your $80, but if you, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt is all I'm trying to say. Oh my gosh, so many super chats coming in. Thank you guys. Let me get these poured real quick. All these bullets. Okay. Wow. This bullet cork is almost not doing anything in the blender select. It's totally dried out. It's just like you can just pull it right out. All right. Yeah. Pretty evident color difference there on those. Okay. Mom, thank you for the super chat. I'm not going to enter my mom into the giveaway. That's like the house playing, you know. I'm not going to do that. Sugar Kitty, thank you for the $10 super chat. Let's see. I never win anything. Nice. Well, good luck tonight. Hopefully you come away with something this evening. Alphonse says, I'm at the bottom of my E.H. Taylor. All right, so we'll count you in. Thank you for the super chat. Get you entered in here. And finally, Mr. Dave Rosas himself. Thank you, Dave. Oh, nice. Daniel P. Venmo to super chat. Daniel, how much was it, man? Well, let me see if it pops up on my phone. I got it. I'll get you 2 entries here, man. Thank you. All right, so let's get into these Bulleit tastings now. Man, Carl, everybody super chatting. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Carl, if I win, give it to Sugar Kitty. Oh, and Scotchy. So I'll just put Sugar Kitty in a 3rd time. Awesome. Cool. All right, so let me know if you guys have had these as I move along in this tasting, what you think of it. If you're sipping along with me on some of these pours, be very curious to know what you think of them. So let's start with the Bulleit 10-year bourbon. All right. So label-wise, we're going to talk about that. This one just says bottled by the Bulleit Distilling Company. No sourcing information on the label. This is 91.2 proof or 45.6% ABV. Small batch product. 10 years age stated. And then just a bunch of, jargon on here. So let's check out the 10-year Bulleit bourbon on the nose and see what it's all about. So right away, I'm getting almost the feeling of like IW Harper 15, but not quite as old and funky. Yeah, so actually, even at 91.2 proof, there's a decent bit of ethanol on the nose, which is kind of weird. At 10 years, you don't really expect that. But there's a ton of cherry on here. Tons and tons of cherry. Yeah, it's just like this. It's like a watery, musty cherry is what I'm getting right now. It's like, if you had like a musty basement and you just like went down into your basement and like left a jar of cherries open or something, like it's just this musty cherry note with some cinnamon, a little bit of leather, but faint leather. Yeah, and then, kind of just generic bourbon caramel notes, generic light vanilla. I actually really like the way it smells. I just wish it was a little stronger. I actually really like the flavors, or the aromas, I should say, in this glass. But you have to dig so deep to start to pull those out, Yeah. Really spicy. For 91.2, that is deceptively spicy the minute it hits your palate. Yeah. That's actually pretty darn nice. Lots of cinnamon spice. If I had to liken this to maybe a similar product, I'm going Four Roses, and I don't say that because of the rumors swirling around Bulleit and Four Roses. It's the most closely related profile, somewhere between a Four Roses and even like a Wild Turkey. because of that cinnamon and that cherry. Yeah. But it has that vibe of that I.W. Harper 15 in there too. The oak presence in here is not funky turkey oak. Kind of Four Roses oaky and leathery, but at the same time, it's got that mustiness that I.W. Harper 15 has. And I don't know what that distillate is that they're using. It's really high corn. I know that. It's low rye, very high corn distillate for I.W. 15. But Sugar Kitty says, I have 2 Bulleit single barrel picks, and both of those have all of my Bulleit corks go loose. I feel like this rye is the exception. It's very tight. And those Bulleit single barrels, what a great value, especially if you can find some decent ones. Sugar Kitty, so like you dropped a jar of Luxardo in the sump pump. I don't know about that. That would be maybe some different notes in the sump pump. That's pretty funny. Yeah, let's do another sip of this. I don't know that this would hold up to. Well, I have an Eagle Rare pick right here. Let me do that real quick. Let me check that comparison out. Yeah. It's a little bit softer, even at a higher proof, than the Eagle Rare pick. The Eagle Rare has a little more kind of syrupy fruitiness in it. Yeah, darker. Where this one's much more delicate. Let me taste the Eagle Rare. Wow. The Bulleit is so spicy. So it feels to me like they can get away with proofing this thing down so much to 91.2 because presumably they're using something with a high rye content. I mean, that's the only way I can imagine they're getting that much spice at 91.2 proof. The finish is really, really kind of short in terms of actual flavor, fruitiness, typical bourbon notes. That's really short, but the cherry or the cinnamon spice hangs on for a really long time. So it's almost the illusion of a high quality pour. And I think I'm seeing a lot of companies doing this now. When in doubt, make a spicier bourbon or spicier rye that's going to have a longer finish from the spice, but that the rest of the pour doesn't hold up. Then we can proof it down to all get out, maximize the bottle count, maximize the profit. I feel like that's what we're starting to see. And it starts to become a cop-out to have high rye content, in your bourbon. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's $100 for the Blender Select is too much. Yeah, $60 I think is kind of standard, 50, 60. I'll pay 60 for one, It's really good. And I'm going to be curious to see how it stacks up, even at a slightly higher proof next to these other age-stated pours. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that's fine. The bourbon's fine. I think if you find it at $50, if you're looking for something that's kind of easygoing, maybe, Russell's 10, maybe it's too much peanut butter for you, a little too hefty. Eagle Rare maybe is too hard to find. This is a fine substitute. At the price, it's tough. I mean, at $50 for a 10-year bourbon is not bad, but compared to other things in the market, it maybe is not the best choice. And truthfully, I'm going Cooper's Craft. Cooper's Craft 100 all day. So on to the rye now. So this is a 12-year rye, which is crazy age statement for any whiskey these days, any American whiskey, but especially coming from Bulleit. And it says it's a 95% rye mash. And on the back, we actually get the distinction that it's distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. So it's telling us that it's MGP, which is a lot more than the other Bulleit products here are, letting us know. Oh, what's up? Hendo is in the house. What's up, man? Thank you for the super chat. Thanks for the support. Cheers to you, man. Let me know what you're sipping on. Thanks for jumping in. Good to see you. Cool. All right. Guys, Sarah and I are watching right now The Handmaid's Tale. A little late to the game on it. Really good show so far. We just finished season 1. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's like oddly relating to the world these days, which is a little bit scary. Sugar Kitty, the 2 single barrel picks I have were 60, which is a bargain compared to, Four Roses picks. One's high rye, one the low rye. Honestly, my high rye is better than any other pick that I've had. So I always try to get the low rye Bullet picks thinking, oh, it'll be fruitier, it'll be creamier. That's not the case with at least, my experience on those. Dunny, that's a good pickup. That's a good pickup. All right, so on to the 12-year Bullet Rye. Yeah, this is a lot of dill. Lots of dill on this rye. And a good amount of ethanol. Proof, 92 proof. Not enough, not a high enough proof to kind of, earn this amount of an ethanol kick on the nose. About white cake, but tons of dill. It's like you just took dill pickle brine and poured it on a bundt cake, which doesn't sound very good. Cornholio, what's up? Cheers to you. Thanks for jumping in on the super chats for that E.H. Taylor. Hard to type when I've got the keyboard all situated like this in front of me. Okay. Cornholio, I got you down. Cheers. Thanks for jumping in. Nice, Hendo. The Hot Buttery Rolls Bullet pick. I missed that. I'm so pissed that I missed that pick. All right, so yeah, not much to say here on the rye other than it's just a very dill-forward MGP rye. Swirling actually gives it a little bit more of a caramel profile, which is nice. It helps to balance it out. Yeah, and a little bit more orange citrus when you swirl it. All right, cheers. Wow. The balance on this whiskey is really good. You can't really expect the craziest mouthfeel at only 92 proof. Wow, but the balance is really good. It develops enough to not feel watery. The spice, it's not too much spice versus body of the whiskey. It's actually a good combination of those things. Huh. Yeah, I mean, I actually kind of like the rye, and I feel like you don't really want to pay this much. Again, 50, 60 bucks. You probably don't want to pay that for a mixer, but I could see this actually being a good mixer because it has so much of a better balance to it maybe than the standard rye. The dill is going to cut through a cocktail. That kind of anise dill type thing. Yeah, but it's still maybe not as much. Yeah, you got to swirl it. You really got to swirl it to get some of that sweetness going on in the glass. But Alphonse says pickles and bundt cake. I definitely won't be looking for that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what did I taste the other day? Oh, I just did a written review on the Patreon of the chicken cock rye. Chicken cock sent me the bourbon and the rye, months ago at this point. And I'm going to do a quick sip video of that coming up. And I just did the written review to kind of prep for it and get my notes together. Yeah, that one, it's probably like a 2-year rye whiskey. It's a Kentucky rye. I think it's probably from Bardstown Bourbon Company. It's 95.5, and it just dill. That's all that's going on in that glass. What's up, Whiskey Noses in the house? Cheers. Okay, now let's go on to the Bulleit Blenders Select. Okay, so this one I believe is age stated at 10 years. Somewhere out in the ether. It's not on the bottle itself. And this one's bottled at 100 proof. So, slightly higher proof than these, which hover around 90, 92. Yeah, and right away, so much more presence. The color is a lot darker. Actually, the first thing I'm getting here in comparison to the other bullets is barrel char. Right away, you're reminded immediately that there's more barrel influence on this bottle than these other two. Yeah. So barrel char, you're getting kind of like a burnt dark chocolate. And these are notes I've never gotten on this. And I think that's the beauty of doing this comparison. Usually I'm getting a lot of Four Roses vibes here. Honeyed apricots, honey drizzled apricots. I get strawberry traditionally on this. Kind of a lighter caramel. But right now, it's dark notes. It's like dark chocolate, barrel char, almost like plums, like dark fruits. Oh, Lito, what's up, man? Let's see. I'm going to get you down for the super chats before I read this so I don't forget. Went in to pick up the Penelope Rosé and came out with the Ardbeg Fermutation. Bring the peat, baby. What is this art? Is this a new release from Ardbeg? I haven't heard of this one. Fermutation. So something to do with the fermenting that they've changed, it sounds like. And then did you end up getting the Penelope Rosé or did you leave it on the shelf? Thanks for the super chat, man. I love that Penelope Rosé. Paul Madden says, I love the Blender Select. I don't know. I've been thinking about sending an email to ask about this because this first one was so good. It would be a shame on 2 counts for the second release. 1, if they don't do a second release, that would totally not be cool. And then 2, if the second release is significantly worse than this, what a lot of these distilleries do is blow their wad on the first release of any kind of sourced and blended thing like this. It used to be MGP, right? People had 10, 12-year MGP sitting around, and they would use it all up right away and not plan for the future. And that seems like, that seems to be a trend. And I hope that doesn't happen with this if they do a second release. So a crazy long fermentation. Okay. Man, well, I am curious to hear what effect that has on the Ardbeg. What does it have an age statement on it, or maybe a range of stuff in the blend? But if they've done something with the fermentation, I would imagine they haven't done that to a lot of different aged distillate. They probably did a run of that, right? Like a single run, so maybe they could age state it. Left the rosé, nice, nice. 13, okay. Cool. Nice. All right, let me taste the Blender Select. Oh, my God. What a remarkable difference. And that's not all in the proof. There's no way that 8 proof points makes this much of a difference from other similarly aged products from Bulleit as compared to the Blender Select. There's just better freaking barrels in here. Holy crap. I have never noticed this amount of tobacco, barrel char, dark chocolate, and kind of bitterness actually that's going on in here. It's not a bad thing. It's making the spice in here actually a little more interesting. I think, I'm not sure if you guys have had this experience, but when you taste something that has a lot of complexity, a lot of layers to it, the first step to tasting that is just to identify those layers. It's like, okay, maybe the spice is hitting in the front of my palate. I notice that. Typically things tend to, for me, get sweeter in the mid palate. I start to identify fruit notes, maybe some caramels and vanillas, like what's going on the sweeter side of things. And as it rolls back, excuse me, you start to get into some of the bitter notes. And those things then finally coalesce in the finish, and you can kind of see what hangs on. And as you go through, the first thing, like I said, is to identify those. And the second thing is to figure out how they interact on the palate. And so you have to start, just like you've seen whatever pyramid that is of, what is it? You get to the top and it's like evaluate, synthesize, analyze, synthesize. What is that pyramid? You learn about it in school. But anyways, like it's getting beyond the base layers, which is just identification, and trying to synthesize what exactly you're getting from the pour and figure that out. And I think, long story short, the way that bitterness can interact with spice is really interesting. And that's what's showcased in the Blender Select. Like the fruitiness, the sweet components of this are on point. But the fact that we get that really nice cinnamon spice that plays in with the bitterness and the dark chocolate and the barrel char, those things kind of weave together and it elongates both flavors throughout the entire sip. That's what's really nice about it. So you have to, again, pick it apart and then put it back together in your mind, I think. And I might be preaching to the choir, but some people out there who maybe are a little newer to tasting stuff like this, I think it's worth talking about kind of how we taste and why we say some of the things we say. Let's see. Ardbeg boiler broke down, so the mash was left to ferment longer. Yep, latest committee release. Wow. That's a cool story. We have Oogie and Ardbeg 10 on the shelf. Oh, Lito said it too. Accident led to them fermenting outdoors. Yeah, I'll have to go read that story. Bloom's taxonomy. Jesus. Yes, Bloom's taxonomy. I was thinking Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but I'm like, I know that's not it. JG, man. Jay comes in with the fire every time. Abandoned Bourbon, what's up, man? You guys are not streaming tonight, right? I thought I saw someone's post about you yesterday, entry proof, and I was like, and then I got worried, like, holy shit, I didn't make a graphic for tonight, and I looked and it was Wednesday. Oh, Uza, thank you for the super chat. Let me write you down so I don't forget here. Cheers, Cameron. If I win, please send it. Oh, let me mark down Super Kitty. Or Sugar Kitty is what it should say. It's like Super Kitty. There's another kitty, but this one's super. Oh, Drew did a bonus live yesterday. So you guys are going live tonight as well then. Ryan says, great description of tasting. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes, these things just kind of pop into my brain. And sometimes I haven't even thought of them that way necessarily, but it's good to kind of talk into the void here and get these thoughts out. And those things are some of the stuff that they make their way into future videos, or you maybe make a video about it on its own. So. Carl, Uta's been drinking a lot. Brian says, I'm all out of whack anyways. Had your calendar up. And, oh, dude, no worries. One of these days, we gotta make something happen on here together. And or if I'm in, because you're in Kentucky, right? I don't know where exactly in Kentucky, but we gotta, make something happen. Wow. So, look, I hope they do another one of these. If they don't, and you see this on the shelf at 50 to 60, buy 2 of them, just in the event that they don't do another release of it. These, if you're looking for an easygoing rye, lower proof, and you like dill, this is pretty widely available, the 12-year Bullet Rye. I think it'd be great in a cocktail, honestly. Not my favorite. Yeah, I don't know. It kind of is what it is. But the balance is better in there than it is in the 10, the bourbon, which is, again, a little more easygoing even than the rye. You get that mix of like a Four Roses with a little IW Harper 15 and maybe a hint of a Wild Turkey going on in there. That's kind of it. But the proof is just a little too low. All right. So, yeah, it is what it is. And if they could do a 10-year cask strength, I think that would be cool. I know they have their Bullet barrel proof or Bullet barrel strength. That one's fine. But if they could do it at a 10-year age statement, I think that would actually be a spectacular whiskey. Oh, Louisville. Dude, Yes. So next time I'm down there, I'm going to let you know because I need to get down there soon. I want to pick up the KBS finish, Bardstown Bourbon Company. What else? Discovery 7, Fusion 7 when those things drop. So I've got to make it down there anyways. Let's do it. All right, let's put Bulleit aside. Let me take just a second here to remind everybody. Oh, geez, my email just popped up out of nowhere. Hang on. I've lost my chat screen. Let me get my touchpad. One sec. I have to do the 3 fingers or the there it is. Get my other desktop up. Jeez, guys. 30 people in here. What's up, guys? Hit that like button when you come in. We're moving on to a blind flight right now. That is the next part of the stream. So let me get these bullets out of the way. Get on to this blind flight here. Like the little infinity cup. Okay. Uta, please remind me to drink water. And it sounds like you might need to drink some water too, according to Carl over there. Dunny says, when's the Bardstown cake? I think it's out. I've been seeing them pop up on secondary. So I think they're out there now. Jason from the Master Drum got one. Sounds like a little early because he went to a Bardstown tasting, and I think they gave him the rest of a bottle there. Should be out now. Yeah. Oh, Brian just messaged me. I can pick up. Oh, dude. Don't tell me that. I never get lucky. I don't go down there enough, but winning the Four Roses LE lottery twice this year, like my mom and I both won. That was like the best luck I've ever had in all of bourbon for me. So we went down and I still have one backup of it, which is amazing. Hendo, do you get bubblegum on Four Roses and Bulleit? It's always there. Heavier on the higher rye. I didn't immediately go bubblegum on the 10-year. I could see where you would get that. Maybe the 10-year bourbon for me more than the rye. I got bubblegum on something the other night. It was a wheat whiskey, which I think is pretty common. A pretty common note with some wheat whiskeys, which I don't drink, very many of. And I'll never get the Parker's Heritage at the price it's at now, the heavy char. But yeah, maybe not so much on the Bulleit, but I'll have to look out for next time. Not on the Four Roses, at least not the recipes I have. I tend to get floral notes, kind of some medicinal cherry qualities, and then a lot of leather on the single barrels from Four Roses. So I'll have to keep an eye out on that. Got to clean some glasses, guys. Little water shot as well. All right. Scott from Scotch Test Dummies needs an ocean of water to drink. He's been doing this tour, right? And I didn't see the live last night. What were we doing last night? I think Sarah and I were hanging out last night. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. Uta, that's a switch. 100%. That's funny. Make it an overnight. Yeah, always an overnight when I go down there. There's too much drinking involved for it to not be an overnight. We'll get into like 20 Roses and go to the Dusty Bar. Man, I've been wanting to go to that Dusty Bar. I saw that it opened, and that looks pretty cool. Okay. Let me get this blind flight pulled back here, guys. Let's do this. It's just a 3-pour flight tonight. I didn't want to drink too much. It's going to happen anyways, but I wanted to, do my best to not drink too much. And then got to leave room for all this Buffalo Trace, E.H. Taylor, John J. Bowman madness at the end of this stream. Okay, so anyways. I saw something from Brian about a song or an album. No, I'm not even familiar with that, Brian. And I'll never remember it after the stream. So if you send me a DM or something or a message, I'll remember it to check it out. Okay. So before we do that blind flight, guys, let's check this out. Let's check out this aged in ore. What do they call it? Bottle flight premium set of 4 flight bottles with travel case and glass marker. Okay, so this arrived today. I've actually got 2 of them. I have a whole kind of travel system for when I go places, whether I'm driving across town or flying, whatever the case may be. I have my own sort of travel system for whiskey right now. And this is a whole video that I'm going to be doing in the future, the next month or 2, I hope, where I'm going to go through my travel bag that I use if I'm driving around and I can carry full bottles with me. I have cases for my glasses. What else? All sorts of stuff, right? And I have typically just used regular old glass bottle outlet sample bottles to travel with saran wrap or, cling wrap at the top. But I saw this pop up from Age and Ore. I don't even how I saw it. And it intrigued me, because it's reusable. You can have more than 1 ounce per sample bottle, which is nice. When you're doing 1 ounce at a time, you have to bring a lot of different samples. And this limits you to 4. So let me unbox this or unwrap this. Just take a look at it real quick. And then we'll get on to this blind flight. But if this is a good solution, I'm going to include it in my video I do about my travel system, if you want to call it that, for whiskey. Okay. Well, this is kind of a pain. One thing I appreciate about Apple so much is their packaging. I've been buying a couple of like cords and stuff recently, and it's so easy to open and get into all that. All right. I'll get that in a sec. So a nice kind of like toiletry bag size. It looks like it's maybe 7 inches by 3 or 4. It's a nice size. Depth maybe 2.5 inches or so. And let's see. Unzip. Feels pretty high quality, kind of a hard shell case on the outside. So this is what you get. You see the 4 sample bottles. This must be the pen with a marker that you can mark on the bottles with, which is, not permanent, obviously, so that you can rewash them and remark them. So these fit very snugly in here. It's like there's no give. When you shake it, do a little shake weight, it's not moving around at all. And these kind of have this silicone type thing on the outside. So there's a little grippiness to it. So you're not going to have glass on glass in here. On the side, it looks like we've got dividers. We've got things kind of written on the side of the glass. I don't know if it's going to focus. It's probably trying to find my eyes. But it says 0.51, 1.52. I assume that's in ounces, which is fantastic. Nice fat lid. There's a sealing ring in here. And then the top of this is really wide. So that was one reason I was really excited about this, is because you don't need a funnel. In some of the advertisements they showed, you don't need a funnel to pour your whiskey into this thing. You can see how much you're getting. I think it goes up to, well, I don't know what full capacity is. It maybe 3 ounces full capacity here. But at any rate, you're definitely getting 2. And then I'll go ahead and mark on this and just see what it looks like. Wow. Super bright, super clear, not faded at all. And I don't know what the washing off is like. Yeah, it just rubs right off. It's fantastic. What a killer system, at least on the surface right now. So I'm excited to travel with this. Again, I got 2 of them. So do some tastings on the road, whatever the case may be. That is really, really cool. And apparently you can, I don't know if you'd want to travel with cigars like this, but part of the shtick I saw was that you could fit a couple of cigars in here, whatever. That's not for me, but, just worth noting. So anyways, price on this, I feel like it was like $40, $45. It's not cheap, but you're going to get a lot of life out of one of these things. So, when I go on vacation, I'm not slurping down the bourbon, honestly. even if I bring my own. It's like I have a drink, I have 2 drinks. I tend to not get, wasted when I'm bringing stuff places. I drink more at home because it's cheaper anyways. So this amount is a pretty perfect amount to bring on the road with you wherever you're going to go. And obviously, it's TSA compliant, it looks like, in terms of the volume that these things have per container. Slip it into a bag. Yeah, you're good to go. So that's friggin' awesome. I don't think I think you can carry that on. It looks to me like you can carry that on. Uta, perfect for sending samples too, besides using them for, well, it's a little expensive to send in those, but yeah, it could be a cool, if you wanted to gift somebody a particular thing also, you could do it that way, but man, that's cool. Hendo, yeah, I didn't know about them until I probably ordered them 5-7 days ago or something. So yeah, they look to be 3-ounce bottles, even though it's not. The markings stopped at 2, at least what I could see on the side there. So cool. Very cool. Oh, yeah. Johnny says it meets TSA pre-check requirements under the liquid limit. Fantastic. Cool. Let's do a blind flight, guys. Just a reminder about the giveaway. We'll draw for it at the end of the stream as we always do, which is probably going to be around 10 p.m. Thank you for hanging out again. Really appreciate it. I know there's a lot of streams going on tonight, so the numbers are a little bit lower right now. But every $5 super chat gets you an entry into the giveaway for an unopened E.H. Taylor small batch. And the second place winner is going to get a sample pack from me. Just remember, the way to claim those prizes, if you do win tonight, is to send me an email at drumsanddrams@gmail.com. I'll put it in the chat. All right. drumsanddrams@gmail.com. So send me an email. Let me know your name, what you won, and an address, and I'll get that out to you. Oh, what's up, Amy? Good to see you. Oh, Jay. Nice. I did not know they had a video on it. Yeah, Aged in Ore is doing good stuff. And I've got another Aged in Ore product up here right now for the final part of the stream, the Buffalo Trace stuff we're going to taste. Travel Decanter, another great product from them. Only one complaint on the Travel Decanter. Yeah, I've got the hat again because this mop, this needs cut. And I have not made it to go get my hair cut yet this week. So I don't know when it's going to happen. So the next reviews you guys see, I'm probably going to be wearing this hat, and you'll know it was filmed right around now. Oh, Marie Parker. That's a new name. Would love to win that E.H. Taylor for my husband. Entry sent. Thank you, Marie. So hang around. If you can't make it back for the drawing, which will be around 10 p.m., I know it's a little over an hour from now. You can send me an email, drumsanddrams@gmail.com. If you watch the replay and you do end up winning, just watch the replay around that timestamp. It'll be 2 hours in or so. Look for it. And if you do end up winning, I will absolutely get that to you as long as you contact me with your information. So thank you for that super chat. I see it up there. Let me mark you down for 2 entries. Marie. Yeah, the E.H. Taylors are fantastic gifts. I think that's really what they're so good for, with the tube and everything. Great display. Amy, thank you. $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Amy. So late. Yeah, work. I know. Work has been, I feel like everybody's work is kind of getting busier. And I don't know if it's because there's this feeling that like COVID is, knock on wood, on the up and up. We're doing okay, a little bit better across the board. And like the attitude's better. People are getting busier. I don't know what it is, or maybe it's just a seasonal thing. Who knows? But yeah. Carl. Luckily, people in my family don't lose their hair. Sorry, I'm going to get to this blind flight, guys. I promise you. Luckily, people in my family don't lose their hair. But recently, I know it looks like a crazy mop. I've been going gray, like gray and white, straight up. Nobody in my family grays early. and it was starting on this side, and now it's everywhere. So I'm going to be curious to see how this thing accelerates. I think stress. I think I'm just going to go gray. A little salt and pepper. Oh, Marie Parker. Got it. Thank you. Heard about you watching. Oh, Matt Porter. The best. That's awesome. Well, thanks for jumping over and checking it out, Marie. I really appreciate it. Speaking of Matt Porter, guys, upcoming live streams. Nothing set in stone yet in terms of dates. I'm still working with people to get dates hammered out, and I need to send some emails back in reply. But Matt Porter, talking to Matt about coming on here. I know he's with the likes this evening, which is awesome. Talking to Matt Porter about it, talking to Nancy Fraley. Nancy and I are going to work something out for her to come on, and we're going to drink some cigar blend together and talk about her story and all the fantastic stuff she does. I was in the Mash and Drums chat the other day and just talking up Nancy, chatting. Finally, I sent her a message on Instagram, and we've kind of gone back and forth. So I'm excited to get Nancy on. And then the Hood Sommelier, Jack, is going to be coming on the channel soon. Got to figure that one out as well. Some scheduling issues there. But I want to get him on a Thursday or a Sunday. I like to do Sunday streams too. Perfect timing, says Kimberly McKinney. Cheers. Thank you, Kimberly, for the super chat, for supporting the channel. And I've got you down for 2 entries. Much appreciated, and good luck on tonight's giveaway. Let's do this blind flight, guys. I'll get to chat in a second. So 3 pours. My goal, I'm going to write down some of my answers here on my phone, is to guess age, to guess proof, to guess distillery, type of whiskey, bourbon, rye, American, whatever, and then to try to guess a label. So 5 things like I always do. And again, this is training for Matt Madness. So let's go ahead and do this. Glass 1, glass 2, glass 3 in my phone. I'll show you as we go what we've got. Let's do it. All right. So glass 1, nice medium amber color. It's not the lightest thing in the world. So let me show you guys what's in glass number 1. I am smelling MGP rye right now, but I don't know if that's what this is. Decently high proof. Let me know if you guys could see that. I don't know what the focus was like. Maybe I need to hold it back here. Let me know if you guys could see this. Give me a thumbs up or something. And please, nobody spoil it in the chat. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of wood, a lot of kind of like dry wood. Reminds you of Booker's, reminds you of an Old Forester single barrel strength bourbon. But I'm getting an orange soda note, a little bit of like a Coca-Cola, which I get a lot from MGP ryes, like Templeton 10-year, Redemption 10-year rye. Yeah, very woody, very orange citrus, orange soda. Daniel says, yeah, hold it by your head. Okay. I figured the focus is going to hang on to my face. Okay, cool. So, and like Alka-Seltzer, like effervescent right there. Little bit of a toasted cornbread note, a little bit of this grain quality coming through, which is actually kind of nice because the other notes are so rich and so deep. If it was all kind of light and young and aggressive, I would not like a grain quality to it. But this, having this cornbread note, is really nice. Mark Royland with a $20 super chat and a little bit of chiding me a little bit. It is stress, man. Relax. I know I've been well, it's been probably 6 to 9 months of just like pulling my hair out, no pun intended, but seriously. So you should see my hair. That's funny, Mark. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the advice, because I do need to take a chill pill, relax a little bit. So thanks, Mark. I appreciate it, man. Good to see you. All right, let me taste this. Lots of cinnamon here too. I mean, proof-wise, I'm feeling I'm feeling around 115. I'm feeling like this is MGP, feeling like it's a rye whiskey. That's kind of where my head's at right now. In terms of a label, I don't know what the label would be. I would say a Templeton or a Redemption maybe. Type of whiskey, rye. Yeah, so I think that knocks out all 5 categories, but let me taste it. That's intense. Wow. Wow. And lots of cherry on the palate now too. Cherry apricot to go along with a lot of that orange citrus. Wow, that's a pretty good whiskey. But I've got to, I mean, like all my eggs are in the MGP basket here. This floral quality, this kind of herbaceousness, I've got to say it's a rye. I'm going to say it's 115 proof. Especially considering most MGP ryes at cask strength probably sit around 115 or 120. What else? What else do I need to say? Age? 10 years. I'm going 10. And then label. I don't know label. This could be a Hughes Belle of Bedford single barrel rye also. Let me remind you guys what it is here. Gotta love that citrus quality in MGP. At least I'm assuming MGP. I feel pretty damn confident on this one. I'll get to the chat in just a second, guys. All right, so that's my guess for this. I'm going to say, I'm going to go Redemption. God, it feels kind of like Templeton to me, though. Feels kind of like Templeton. So it doesn't matter, but let me go higher proof. So let me go Redemption Rye. Yeah. All right. Let's go to glass 2. I'm going to try not to aimlessly stare and think too much. That'll get really boring really quickly. These are completely different. Whew, that smells a little Brown Forman-y or something. Almost like stale bread, actually. Stale bread, motor oil. Smells like it was aged in a smaller barrel. This smells like there's a distinct savory quality to this. That mushroom beef broth, like 291 has it, Middle West Spirits has it. This smells like it was aged in a smaller barrel. The color doesn't look as dark as you might expect from something that would be aged in a smaller barrel because they get, they get a darker color much quicker. But it has that kind of crafty small barrel note on the nose. Yeah, a lot of marriage jokes in the chat. Yeah, right. Amy says, Matt Madness 2. I hope there aren't any sourced selections or the rules give you leeway. Yeah, and me too. This argument that I've had, that people have had about like, well, you need to be able to guess the label, even if it's sourced. That's a load of shit, unless it's something where like they've taken the barrels and they've aged them for more than half of their life somewhere else in a different climate, then I think there's a case to be made there. Or like in the case of John J. Bowman, that's a tough one because I would mistake that for a Buffalo Trace product. Although because it's triple distilled, it does clean it out a little bit. It's a cleaner, more kind of I don't know what the word would be. Stripped. I mean, it is stripped down. I mean, that's what you're doing when you're distilling it down a third time. But it's like sanitized. It's a more sanitized version of Buffalo Trace is how I would call it. So it's tough. I feel like there's got to be maybe half points on some of that stuff. For instance, a John J. Bowman. But yeah, like MGP. If it's 10-year MGP, it's 10-year MGP. Carl, I used to make very, very good money, but the stress almost killed me. I had to readjust priorities. Yeah, I'm finding that as a freelancer, I don't know what work you were in, Carl, but man, as a freelancer, you can just run yourself into the ground because there's no limits. You can work all day and all night, or you can set boundaries and negotiate better. It's such a crazy kind of thing to manage, I think. All right, so glass 2. Let me show you guys what's in glass 2. I'll hold it back here. This is a weird one. And I just spilled it on my face. So proof feels lower on the nose than glass 1. Glass 1 is so MGP, it's not even funny. Glass 2, man, I don't know. Maybe this is like a Frey Ranch, which I haven't really sipped on a lot since I did the stream with those bottles. Yeah, it's just a really dark profile. It's immature in a mature way, like you're getting dark notes, but you're not getting the presence and oak and leather and age notes that you would expect on a whiskey that has these other dark notes in here. I want to taste it. That is not at all what I expected that to taste like. Not even close. There's something so familiar about this whiskey. Now I'm coming back to the nose, and there's like chocolate in here. Feeling like around 100 proof, maybe 105. Feeling more Kentucky after tasting it, a little more Kentucky. I'm going to say, first and foremost, it's a bourbon. I've got to say it's a bourbon. Feels like a rye bourbon, not a wheated bourbon. I might have to come back to this one. That's a much better tasting whiskey than when I first smelled it. And it could have been just coming off that MGP. I think when you come off of a really floral, bright, citrusy profile, like what I presume is this MGP rye, I think anything that's darker than that is going to seem much darker because of the contrast between them, which is why side-by-sides and A/B comparisons and flights, they can be so misleading sometimes. And, if you don't know what you have next to it, it's tough to know what to expect from the next pour. So, all right. I'm going to write down my note of 105 proof. I don't really know any other information off the top of my head that I want to write down for that one. So let's go to glass 3. Now you're going to know what's in all 3 of these glasses. So here's glass 3. This smells like a Buffalo Trace product right away. It smells low proof. It could just be straight up Buffalo Trace. I think Sarah is being mean, and I think Sarah is moving down in proof on this flight instead of moving up, which makes it very tricky. But this has a Buffalo Tracy vibe, and after coming off some of these with bigger flavors, this could be Buffalo Trace or it could be Elmer T. Lee, and I would not know the difference, That could be Elmer T. Lee. I got to go with my first impression on this. I'm going to say it's a Buffalo Trace product. I'm going to say it's a bourbon. Age could be a Blanton's. Could be a Blanton's for sure. A wedding Blanton's. That's the only. That's probably the one she would have picked. The wedding dump date. I'm going to say Elmer T. Lee. That's going to be my final answer. First impression. This is what I learned in Matt Madness last year: is go with your gut. Carl, out of Oban 14. Yeah, that's rough. That's a great go-to pour. And I would fix that immediately. Although, man, Glen Scotia 15, you just can't beat Glen Scotia. You know, that is far and away probably one of my favorite available bottles out there. Okay. Last thing, we got to get this glass 2 nailed down. The first thing I said when I jumped off of glass 1 was, this smells like a Brown-Forman product. I can still see that. Doesn't smell like roses, doesn't smell like turkey. But it could be something craft. If it's Brown-Forman, if it's around 115, this has a funky double oakness possibly to it. This could be a Michter's. This could be a Michter's with its weird funk. Like a Michter's Toasted something or other. Oh, shit, Carl. I haven't seen any of the new Glendronach stuff. Man, I got to get some Glenallachie. I got to get some Glenallachie. Because that's not good. That's alarming. Oh, geez. All right. Glass 2, I think, is Toasted Barrel. I think that's where this weird barrel quality. I was getting this, what smelled like a small barrel. I think I'm getting a double oaked note on this. And now I'm convincing myself it's a Michter's. So at the proof that this feels like, oh, geez, 105? That's what I said, 100 to 105? That's hard to tell. Okay. I'm just gonna have to go with some sort of answer here. Age, I'm gonna say like 8 years. I said 105 proof before. Let me do a side by side with glass 1. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to go Michter's Toasted Rye. 115 proof also. I don't know what the proof is on that bottle. And that's going to be my final answer. So let's reveal these in the blind flight. Glass 1, I said was MGP, rye whiskey, around 115 proof, 10 years. I said Redemption Rye. Holy shit. Redemption 10-year barrel proof rye. I'm feeling good about this now. I'm going to skip glass 2 and go to glass 3. Okay, so I said Elmer T. Lee for glass 3, which would be, what, a 90 proof Buffalo Trace bourbon. I don't know the age on that. Okay, so it's a Blanton's. I feel okay about that. I was between Elmer T. and Blanton's on this. And I think this has to be the wedding Blanton's. Let me check. Yeah, right. Because I have a single barrel Blanton's back there that tastes like Benchmark, and this did not taste like Benchmark. This is a store pick Blanton's. So I'll take that. Proof, I said 90. It's close enough. Age, you know, I don't know what these ages are on Blanton's and Elmer T, so a little irrelevant. My guess would have been somewhere between 7 and 8 years old. Yeah, I'll take that. And then finally, the second one, I said Michter's Toasted Rye. But I upped my proof at the end. I upped my proof at the end. What is the proof on Redemption Barrel Proof Rye? 116.2. So I said 115, and then I moved the second one up to 115. It's 116.8. I'll take that. What did I say? I said it was a toasted rye. This is a Pinot Noir finished barrel proof product from High Bank here in Columbus, Ohio. Let me grab the bottle. Okay. So this is a high rye blend of different bourbon, sourced bourbon, but it is high rye, 116.8 Pinot Noir finish. Now, I said it had this funky quality to it with the oak. First, I thought it was a small barrel. Then I thought double oaked. It is double oaked, but in a Pinot Noir barrel. Proof was pretty damn close, within 2 proof points. High rye. I thought at the end it was a rye whiskey. That's fine. I will take that. Whew. Man. Donnie, I have a vengeance. I have a bone to pick this year. I'm here with a vengeance. I was so bummed last year. The whole Bulleit fiasco, Four Roses fiasco last year, I think that was in the round, the three-way round. And then Grease, I think, just flat out spanked me in the semifinals, I think. And I don't remember. I have to go back and watch that round. Look, when I saw on Facebook that Grease got a freaking like UFC champ belt, I gotta win. I gotta have that friggin' belt. Come on. That's awesome. Amy, thank you for this reminder. Guys, I know there's 21 in the house. It's a small stream tonight, a small intimate stream. Seriously, thank you so much for being here. There's a lot of choices this evening. I understand. So I appreciate you hanging out with me this evening. Even if you're flipping between, I totally get it. But yeah, we're giving away an E.H. Taylor small batch tonight, and the second place winner is going to win a prize pack of samples from me. Some will be from this evening. I'll do for sure like this Pinot Noir finished Whiskey War. Redemption, I can do the 10-year rye, some of these cool bottles from tonight, and then maybe a couple of things that I throw in that I think are some good pours. So yeah, every $5 super chat. I know there's very few of us in here, but if you haven't already entered and you want to help support the channel and also have the chance to win some stuff, go ahead and throw some super chats in the mix. Appreciate any and all support. And for those of you who are hanging out, who are not patrons, just a quick word on it. You know, I'm getting the Patreon really up and running. I got some cool stuff coming down the pike here, and I'm very excited about it. So $5 or $10 sort of monthly subscriptions. That's all we're doing over on the Patreon, 5 or 10. You get a lot for 5. You get a little bump at 10, and you get entered into a monthly giveaway. So, you know, consider that. Check it out. I know it's another kind of Netflix priced subscription to something. I get it, but it does really go a long way to get some patrons over there to help support the channel. And Patreon doesn't take that big of a cut. You know, YouTube takes a really big cut from these super chats. Patreon doesn't take that big of a cut. And so a little does go a long way over there, especially when people come over in numbers. So I'm going to be driving the Patreon home a lot more with the reviews that are coming out soon and with just the future content. But, you know, just throwing that out there if you guys want to help support the channel. All right. You're ready, bro? No, we got a lot more blind flights to go. I'm going to try to do a blind flight, maybe 3 pours like this, between 2 to 4 pours on every stream, because I want to get ready, you know? And you know what, guys? There is a difference between doing a blind flight by yourself, like in a room by yourself. Sarah pours it, she leaves. I'm just sitting there going through it on my own. That is completely different than having like this insanely bright light shining in my face, interacting with people. During the Matt Madness streams, there's a lot going on. And like people are talking, talking back and forth when you're trying to be smelling and tasting. It's a totally different thing to do it live. It's to me, I'm on stage for a living. I perform as a soloist for a living with orchestras for a living. It feels the same. Like it feels like, holy shit, the pressure's on. I gotta call these notes, call these qualities, on these pours. I don't know, DC. I don't know. That's a good, like, the good thing is I think Matt said I had a bye week on the first round, or I just had a bye on the first round. So if that's the case and I get to watch like however many, 8, 12, 16 rounds before mine, that's going to be awesome. Like I'm going to be able to see the kind of stuff he's putting out there. Okay, guys, let me check the chat real quick. Daniel, did she even write the horse letter on the card? She did. Oh my God, she did. I didn't even notice that she put an S in the top corner. Yeah, so we have 3 bottles of this pick. I went on secondary to get them. We have an S for Sarah, an A for Anthony, which is my first name, and then an L for Leach to go along with the wedding theme. So this is the first bottle we opened was the Sarah bottle, the S. I can't believe you noticed that, man. Good eye. Yeah, he told me all of yours are 4 roses. Yeah, can you imagine? He puts there 5 different 4 roses, a mix of 4 roses and Bullet picks. I would. That'd be terrible, man. Yeah, Dunny, that was some madness. That was some madness. Okay, let me get these out of here. These blind pours. Sarah, whenever I get done with these and she's poured me a blind, she's always like I go in there and she's asleep and I'm like, hey, babe, I'm like, I'm done. And she's like, oh, she's half asleep. Like, was it good? Like, did I do a good job? Like pouring the flight. And I was like, yeah, you did a good job, And she's like, how did you do? And like the last couple have just been tragic. So I'm excited tonight to tell her that it wasn't so bad. She is thorough, huh? All right. The last time I did a stream and I tasted the E.H. Taylor rye, the minute I pulled these out right here, the stream numbers went way up. And I think it's because when people see the thumbnail as they go by this and they see E.H. Taylor out, they click on the link. So we're on to the final part of the stream now, which is this Buffalo Trace side-by-side. So like I said, we're going to have 5. There we go. The numbers are spiking. It's hilarious. We're going to have 5 different pours for this part of the stream. Okay, so first and foremost, E.H. Taylor small batch, which is the giveaway for tonight. Second, we have a E.H. Taylor single barrel, and then another E.H. Taylor single barrel, which is a bottle kill of mine, 100 milliliters left. So we got those. And then we have this John J. Bowman, however much of this is left in the aged and or travel decanter, and a pretty freshly opened John J. Bowman that Sarah's been getting into. All right, so we're going to just do this comparison, this 100 proof comparison. Daniel, I'll add in the Rock Hill Farms just for shits and giggles and see how it compares. This E.H. Taylor single barrel is a 2019. I remember that one being pretty darn good. And then this, which you can see I've only had maybe 2 pours at most out of this bottle. I believe this is a 2020 laser coat on this one. So a couple different vintages, represented here from the single barrels. And in terms of the John J. Bowman, this is a 2021 bottling, and I believe what's in here is a 2019. So lots of different years going on. And I'll be curious to see if the 2019s, or the 2021s are better or not. So let me, what was I? Oh, Rock Hill Farms. Okay. DC says the single barrels should stand out. Yeah, I think so too, but I'm curious to put them next. I don't know that I've done these next to the John J. Bowmans, and especially the Rock Hill Farms, because I usually isolate by mash bill, which is what I was going to do tonight. But I actually think it's going to be good to do this. So thank you for the suggestion, Daniel, because I think it'll be telling, you know, to put these next to each other. All right, let me get this set up. I need one more glass now. Let me grab that. I just added another new shelf to the whiskey room, but it's actually off camera here. It's the final amount of space that I had in this room available. So I can't buy any more whiskey now, right? And it's really convenient, actually, to have this new shelf here because there's a lot more storage space in this room. So let's do this. I'm going to try to make this somewhat obvious what's what. All right. Sorry, transition time. I know. I'll move these. Yeah. Up here. There's so much Buffalo Trace on the table now. It's kind of sacrilegious. All right. Oh my God, 6. I'm looking at 6 empty glasses, and that's a little bit scary for me. Sheesh, let's do it. All right, so 2019 E.H. Taylor Single Barrel. I don't need to do crazy big pours, or else I will not survive. Although the Infinity glass, if I just mix up all these Buffalo Trace products, probably a pretty tasty Infinity glass. Yeah. Good. I actually think I can do with a little less of my 2019 sample. Don't need to go crazy here. Save some for the fishies, as they say. All right. So, chat, let me know what you are sipping on, if you are sipping on anything tonight. Got a little water left in some of these glasses. Aiden, I see Aiden's jumped in here. What's up, man? It's good to see you. I'm going to just read this off this. Here, I'll click it up here. There we go. I think Buffalo Trace just isn't my profile. I've been leaning further and further into rye these days. Yeah, I think I definitely went through a rye phase. I'm coming out of it a little bit, but there, you know, it's hard to compete with that amount of spice in a bourbon, and Buffalo Trace is the opposite of that. So I think that makes a lot of sense what you're saying. And it just depends on the Buffalo Trace product for me, you know. I'll be honest with you guys, like Stag Junior, which I used to absolutely love, I never reach for it anymore. I don't know what it is. I think they just drank a little too youthful to me. And yeah. Batch 12 is still an amazing batch. And I really want to get a backup for it. But the other ones, it's like, yeah, you know, it depends on the night. But it has to be a progression in a night, not something where I go, holy crap, I really want Stag Junior. No, that's cigar blend where I'm like, oh, I just find myself craving it. That's Magnus cigar blend all the way. All right, so all these damn things are poured out now. Aiden, you're a picky bastard these days. Aiden, okay. Yes, you're right. Also, speaking of picky bastard, look. All right. So I told you guys that this was sent in, right? Finally, I did some test runs today with my cameras, my new setup, my new external recorders. Everything is firing on all cylinders. I'm very happy about it. And some new on-screen graphics for the review videos. Like, everything is going to plan. I'm excited about it. So this was sent in, right? The King of Kentucky 2020. Ashton sent this in. That's the next full review to come out. But after tasting it, I don't think I've said this on a public stream. I told the Patreon stream the other day, I had to just go get my own. This stuff is so good. And yes, it was not MSRP. It was much more expensive, but this is probably the best whiskey I've ever tasted, at least that 2020 barrel that was sent. And look, it's just a special bottle. So Sarah and I are going to open this on Valentine's Day. We chose the closest possible holiday as the occasion to open it because it needs to get opened. All right. So, chat, what order do you like? Should I go in what would be the presumed order of quality here? Like, should I go from E.H. Taylor's small batch to the single barrels to John J. Bowman to like Rock Hill? Like, or should I just kind of meander my way around this? I'm curious to know what you guys think and what would be the most like unbiased and most informative way to go about tasting these. I feel like if I do try to go in a prescribed order, that's like, you know, that's a little too biased for me. And at the same time, like, I wish in some ways I did this blind, but in other ways, I like knowing what the labels are because I don't have a horse in the race. Like, I don't care if for some reason E.H. Taylor small batch beats these other ones out. I don't give a shit, you know? So I don't feel like I'm going to be influenced by the labels. I think part of that is because, like, you know, once you own so much whiskey, you pay so much for certain whiskeys. Like, I don't mind if I paid, let's say, $400 for something and it's not that good because it's like, it was a learning experience and I shouldn't have paid $400 for that whiskey, you know? Will, but that's the thing, Will, it's a little bit, it could be subjective because a lot of these are single barrels. Daniel, I should have not ordered it that way. The presumption would be that E.H. Taylor single barrel is probably slightly better because it's only double distilled. Oh, Ashton, there it is. Ashton, what's up, man? This is the person that made me spend dollars on a King of Kentucky. This is the culprit right here. So yeah, I've been experimenting in terms of the full reviews. Ashton sent this bottle at the best time, because anyone sending you a King of Kentucky, it's the best time to send the King of Kentucky. But also it was like, I'm not going to say no, but like I had a couple of kinks to work out here with my system. And then also like some production things I've been working on, which I had to kind of speed up. And that video is not going to have all the, like, what would you say? Like all the upgrades, you know, because it's not all ready to go. So I'm just going to have to like get it out there so I can send this damn bottle back to Ashton because I feel really bad about it. I did. Yeah, she knows. Unfortunately. I can't keep a secret. Okay. Let's start with the small batch, E.H. Taylor small batch. We'll kind of go from there. I think the biggest kind of toss-up here is going to be the E.H. Taylor single barrels versus the John J. single barrels. And then at the end, kind of seeing how Rock Hill Farms compares to the whole landscape of these five. I think that's kind of the way I want to do it. Everyone's like, this is like reaction porn for everyone. What did Sarah say? Look, I know, like, you compare this stuff to the single barrel, and I did that video. Matt Porter just did that video. And it's like, oh, wow, the single barrel is so much better. That's good whiskey. That's really good whiskey. It's like you just take Buffalo Trace and make it have some freaking cojones, you know? it just gets a little more brash with that proof bump. And whatever they're doing when they select these barrels, whatever the E.H. Taylor profile is in terms of the other qualities, I don't know what differentiates it exactly from the other mash bill one offerings on the production side of things, but that's really good whiskey. I always get a metallic note in E.H. small batch, like almost, it's going to sound stupid, copper, you know? There's like a metallic note in here. Wow. Yeah, you know, Aiden, I think for me, number one, I'll never get these. As I've said many times on the channel, there are so many bottles I will never acquire being in a control state like Ohio and not being willing to wait in line for 2 to 16 hours, depending on the drop, depending on the store. Like, I just won't do it. And it does get absurd, the amount of money that you can spend if you want to. And one really kind of dangerous thing is that you just like get into a secondary Facebook group and like everything's right there if you want it, and you can just rack them up. So that is a little scary. It's kind of nice when it's not that available, but the internet's made everything available. But, you know, for me, like whiskey has become, you know, a lot of people say like, oh, save that bottle for an occasion. I think sometimes the bottle is the occasion. And is that a great excuse to just open expensive shit? Yes, absolutely it is. But it's also true. You know, like, I like to go places. I love experiences. I don't like things as much. I mean, I own all of my percussion instruments that are like, some of them are very expensive. Like a marimba is not cheap. But it's not because I wanted to own a thing. It's because I use that for my work. It's a means to an end. Same with the cameras and all that. It's a means to an end. But in terms of like clothing and shoes, it's like, that is not, you know, really what I like. And so for me, whiskey's almost become an experience in and of itself. And that's kind of why I'm willing to spend more money on it, you know, because you share it with the people that you're with. For me, I'm so lucky that Sarah likes whiskey and she likes to taste it with me. So I'm okay with spending a little extra money, you know, and especially to save myself the hours in line when those hours could actually make me more money as a freelancer to pay for the time I would have been standing in line and then some. And this is not me, Aiden, trying to fight back at you. It's just kind of my philosophy for the whole thing, you know? Yeah. So I really, really like E.H. Taylor Small Batch. Let's move on. Let's move on to the 2020 E.H. Taylor Single Barrel. Where's the laser code on this? Yeah. Bottled on the 335th day of 2020. So in December, it looks like, is when this thing was bottled. Oh, yeah. You lose some of the spice. Yes. You lose some of the spice, some of the ethanol. I like losing the ethanol, but actually I kind of like the spice and the character on the small batch. This one to me feels almost a little dry. There's not the rich kind of like grape notes that I'm used to from an E.H. Taylor single barrel or a lot of high-end Buffalo Trace. Yeah, there's a weird charcoal funk in this. And leather and a little bit of dark fruit. And actually a lot of kind of a perfumed floral quality. So, and it's darker, but actually a little bit thinner on the nose. And the palate's a totally different story. A good amount of spice on the palate. Very perfume. Very like grape perfume floral. Weird. And a very short finish too. So that's a 2020 single barrel. It's odd. That's really weird. That not that good. And maybe that's why I've only had one pour of it so far. If you taste something, you go, oh my God, and you have to go back to it. I haven't felt the need to go back to this single barrel. And I know we're talking single barrels. I understand that. Holy shit, guys. This is the 2019. Whoa. This is two. Yeah. This is twice as good. This is 100% better. Oh my God. This is rich vanilla. It's got a sugary texture to it on the nose. This one's dead in the water. This 2020 single barrel is dead in the water. It's a barrel that has no character to it. This 2019 is exploding out of the glass. Oh my God. Oh my God. If every Buffalo Trace product could taste like this 2019 single barrel, I'm fully on board. It's amazing. Like, I don't know if every 2020 single barrel is going to taste like this, but there is a remarkable decline in my eyes from what I've tasted in 2 years' time, from 2019 through 2021. Let's just say 3 years, right? The quality of Buffalo Trace products has gone down the tubes. I just feel like they're not left with good barrels, and they have to put out these generic single barrels, the non-store picks, and they're just not good. Wow. So when I made my video about E.H. Taylor small batch versus single barrel, it was this single barrel. It was the 2019. And I was like, holy shit, that's so much better. If I had to make that video today about this 2020 single barrel, it'd be like, go with the small batch. So that amount of variance in 1 year, I don't know when exactly in 19 this was bottled. I don't know the age of the 19 single barrels on average. Let's say there was 14 to 16 months between them. That is not that long for the quality to drop like that, if we're taking an average right now of what the single barrels may have been from those yields. It's not good. Daniel, me too. E.H. Taylor small batch, I had like 4 on hand. It was just, that was what I was going to all the time. Hendo, yeah, that makes sense with another distillation for sure. Yeah, Aiden, no, and I don't. I'll never tell somebody to go spend that on these bottles. Like, for me, yeah, the channel doesn't pay me too much, but just even having the money from the channel where I say, okay, I can reinvest this in the channel, which, yes, goes to the channel. It also goes to, like, I drink that whiskey to myself. That's kind of the benefit for me. I do get a little bump from that, and it does help. I'm not making Bourbon Junkies money or Matt Porter or Jason, like, I'm not doing that. And if I get to that point, then it'll be a different story, because I'd be doing the channel more often, and that would become a lot more my income, and I'd have to be careful with how much I spend on secondary. But it's an interesting kind of balance to strike, I think. But I don't want to tell anybody, like, it makes sense to me, and I do pay $3.25 on a cigar blend. That makes sense to me. But I'm not going to tell anybody else to do that, because that's a lot of money. I just love cigar blend. And I used to be really self-conscious, actually, about that. About, like, buying on secondary and having a channel. I was like, oh my God, this is such a taboo. You know what? No, it's not. It's like, honesty is the best policy. As long as I'm not like, I don't buy on secondary, and then I do it on a burner account or something like that, that's when it would be totally silly. Good call, Uta. Oh, Sugar Kitty, I did not realize it was a pot still. I did not realize that. That is good information. Alphonse, well, if that's the case, I hope you're gonna, I hope you're good luck on tonight's giveaway. I don't want to say I hope you win, but good luck on tonight's giveaway. Okay, so let's go now to this, which is a very recent bottling of Bowman Single Barrel, bottled about halfway through 2021. It looks like. Date code suggests it was on the 160th day of 2021, so like almost halfway through the year exactly. So let's go to this barrel next. It's kind of resinous, kind of sappy almost. Like, you guys ever, like when you were a kid, did you ever break a dandelion in half and lick the white? Like basically, I guess it's kind of like a sap almost from the stem of the dandelion. It's kind of like sour and pungent, but it's very kind of outdoorsy tasting. Imagine that. But that kind of resinous, sappy taste, along with almost like if you go outside and you're trying to cut down a tree branch and you're just sawing away at it, and you kind of get to that green, sinewy, kind of resinous part of the branch, very fresh. I'm kind of getting that actually from this John J. Bowman. A lot of corn grain actually on this. That cornmeal, that dusty. Yeah, it's nice. It's like a perfectly balanced E.H. Taylor small batch where you don't get the brashness, but you also lose a little bit of character on the nose right now because it's like you've tamed it down. You've kind of rounded the edges just a bit, and you've exchanged balance for personality. Sugar Kitty, if you ever done that? Like that, look, go outside, pick. I know it's what is it right now? February. Go pick a dandelion in April, break it in half, put your tongue on it. You'll understand what I'm talking about. I'm telling you. Yeah. The wood notes on here, it's not kind of sweet oak like I get from this really good E.H. Taylor single barrel. Yeah, it's not that. It's a drier wood profile. Wow. Yeah, compared to 21 Bowman single barrel next to the lesser of my E.H. Taylor single barrels, the 20. This is still darker, but it's just not, there's not as much going on the nose. The John J. Bowman has a lot more going on. Wow. I do wish there was more oak on that. Interestingly tart. I'm telling you that resinous, sappy quality is totally there. That's sometimes you say a tasting note and you're like, God, that sounds pretentious. Resinous and sappy, that's one that sounds pretentious. That's good. I feel like I want to be drinking this John J. Bowman single barrel in like Utah or Colorado. It feels kind of mountainous to me, kind of outdoorsy. Yeah, darker here, but boring. And not nearly as much spice. The Bowman has a lot more spice. At least this barrel does. Man. And sometimes I don't reach for this because it's like there's so much sex appeal for this bottle. And that does sometimes taint me on what I reach for. This is fantastic. And so I'm excited to see how this, which is another Bowman single barrel, kind of compares to these. It's an older bottling, I think a 2019 as well. So let's see what the quality is like on this one. Brian, I think Brian's probably behind on the stream right now because he's talking to Brian Bikey, Abandoned Bourbon, and that was probably an hour ago. So, guys, it's 9:50. Holy shit! Time totally flew. So we'll do the giveaway here in 10 to 20 minutes, maybe. At this pace, 10 to 20 minutes. So reminder down here, the banner is going across the screen. Giving away, there's no bottle on this. It's not as heavy as I thought. Giving away an E.H. Taylor small batch this evening. So get those super chats in. Every $5 is an entry. And then we're going to draw for that. Second place is going to get a sample pack from me. So, yeah, get those in, and I'll announce a cutoff as it gets a little bit closer, but 10 to 20 minutes, I would say. Top Dog checking in from Vegas. Cheers. Good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Looking at the chat, guys. Looking at the chat. Carl, so you're saying taste weed instead of smoking it. Just smell it, honestly. Look, nosing's nosing for me is like 75% of the fun. I think weed smells great. I don't smoke it, but I don't do well with that stuff. But I do think it smells absolutely delicious. So, hey, nose it. Yeah, don't quote me on that. That could be not great. So I didn't say any of that. Although I think it's so silly that stuff is illegal. I mean, I don't want to get into all that, but of all the drugs, legalize that shit. Come on, guys. What are we doing? Oh, do we get a butter note on the small batch E.H. Taylor? Huh. I could actually see like a buttercream note on this. But it's not the first thing I think of just because the spice really hits hard on it. I can see a buttercream note. Yeah. Okay. DC, no, the Isaac Bowman is port finish. The John J. Bowman is just a straight up single barrel. Rob S says, cheers, Cam, love your stuff. Thank you, Rob. And there will be more stuff coming out soon. Again, I wanted to take it really slowly as I got the channel back up from my kind of 3 or 4 month break that I took. Make it really manageable for me to get back on my feet. And I think I've been doing it well, but I'm ready to get out there. I've got a funny, actually, I'm going to show you guys a little teaser of something that I'm working on. Okay, I showed the patrons yesterday on our Patreon only live stream. Again, shameless plug for the Patreon, $5 or $10 a month. If you're interested in it, check it out. There's a lot of bonus content on there, lots of written reviews, videos, updates, all that kind of stuff. So check that out if you guys don't mind. Ooh, Scotch for Dummies comes on in 10 minutes, says Cohen. Nice. Okay, so I'm on to this barrel of John J. Bowman. Oh. So that took everything I love about this 21 barrel and added grape snow cone syrup to it. Oh. So this proves, at least to me right now, that a 2019 E.H. Taylor single barrel and a 2019 John J. Bowman single barrel far outdo their counterparts, their newer counterparts, 2020, 2021. It could be a coincidence. Absolutely. They're all single barrels. I'm more inclined to believe that it's barrel quality, barrel selection going downhill because of the bourbon boom over the last few years. Even though they are technically from different distilleries, I think that problem is affecting everybody. So it's very telling here. And this thing's not looking too shabby versus the current day bottlings. Now, this particular small batch was bottled in the first third of 2020, which should be comparable to these. And I would, in terms of premium prices between these two, a current day single barrel versus a current day small batch, secondary prices, let's say, I'm taking the small batch every day of the week because the quality of this is not as good. This is $60. There's no secondary value to it. So if you find it locally, if you're going to trade for it, buy it, find it on the shelf. We don't get it in Ohio. Buy every one of these you see. I'm serious. This stuff is going to become as scarce as the other stuff in a year or two. I truly believe that. And it's good quality. And as the quality continues to probably plummet, along with everything else in the industry, I say go buy these right now. And if you go to a local store and they've had them sitting there for a while, which would be a lucky break for you, check the laser code, L, and then if you get 19, 18, 2018, 2019, buy them. I mean, buy them regardless. But if you find the older ones and you can find different years, different bottlings, get the earlier bottlings. 21, this one's great, but it's nothing compared to this 19. Tim, what is it? Are you starting an OnlyFans? No, it's my Patreon. Support the channel. We do at least once a month extra Patreon live streams. I'll do video updates there. I'll do a ton of written reviews, which is something I have fun with. Selfishly, it's just a place for me to put those. And yeah. Okay. Sorry, checking out the chat. Now let's go on to Rock Hill Farms and see how this thing stacks up to all the rest in here. So we're getting close to the end of the night. Get those super chats in. If anybody else wants any other entries for the giveaway, support the channel. Get those super chats in. Hit that like button also if you haven't already. Yeah. This Rock Hill Farms, there's so much ethanol. All of these are 100 proof. There's so much ethanol on the nose. And it has it actually has a dirt note, like soil. I can't believe this barrel got bottled. I cannot believe it. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to taste this, and that's going to be the only sip of this I take. Daniel, if you're still here, man, I guess I just need to get a better Rock Hill Farms. I believe they're out there. Don't get me wrong. Like, the difference between these two single barrels here is so remarkable that I don't doubt that there's Rock Hill Farms out there that are totally stellar. I believe that. And then for all the ethanol on the nose, the palate doesn't actually have the amount of spice to back that up. And it's all grain. It's all corn grain with a little bit of grape. And yeah, there's some sweet oak in there. It tastes like you mixed Benchmark Foolproof with a Buffalo Trace store pick is what this tastes like. Yeah, that's just not it. So I think my favorite of the lot is my 2019 E.H. Taylor single barrel. Yeah, 100%. And it's the vanilla that really does it for me. Vanilla shows age, right? And when you get a vanilla cream note, you get that age, that perception of age on the nose. And then secondarily, I would say that the 2019 John J. Bowman single barrel, it's a really close second. So that was E.H. Taylor. Okay. Now John J. Bowman. There's actually a little more of an Eagle Rare 17 quality in terms of like really, really sweet, dark grape notes and candy to the John Jay 19. And the E.H. Taylor just has that extra vanilla. That's almost a tie. So it seems to me like those 19s, if you can find a 2019 vintage, buy it. This is easily last place tonight. And that just shows you the kind of randomness of single barrels. This was bottled in the second third of 2020. So for me, I stay away from those. And then tried and true at a great price point. Tried and true at a great price point. Yeah. Alphonse says, do you think they are getting careless because Buffalo Trace in general is so overpopularized? I don't think it's... I don't want to... I don't want to make the assumption that it's carelessness. I think part of it's just inventory. The demand of this stuff is so through the roof that there's no way they can keep up. And so the quality of barrels that they have sitting around for some of these single barrel offerings, I just don't think it's there. And I think now they have to probably hold back a lot of those high quality barrels for their store picks. So the stuff that gets out of the distillery with just the generic single barrel label on it, that stuff is not going to be of the quality that it used to be. So I don't think it's necessarily carelessness, although you never know. You never know how they actually go about deciding that these barrels are ready. Are they sampling every barrel they're releasing? I don't know. If they're not, if they're just going by like, okay, we put them on this rick, they're 9.5 years old, we're going to bottle this run of barrels. That's kind of problematic too, because that doesn't guarantee quality. You know, you do need to taste these barrels. So I don't know exactly how it works at Buffalo Trace, and I don't want to pretend like I do. And it doesn't matter what the problem is. It just matters that the quality is suffering. And that needs to be called out, especially as prices continue going up for whiskey that's just not as good. And I empathize with the companies because whiskey takes a long time to make and to mature. So let me get those super chats in, Alphonse, to the giveaway right down here. Okay. And I see another super chat. I'm definitely not starting that. That's just called OnlyFans. Daniel, dude, next time I'm sending you samples, I'll send you this Rock Hill Farms because I want you to taste it. Not great. Colin, dude, Sarah's been giving me so much crap about this, but I told her, I said, look, woman, you put the googly eyes on the last run of bottles. This is on you. You put the googly eyes on the... If you want the googly eyes. Actually, I want the googly eyes too. We need to work together. We need to collaborate on the googly eyes application. Rob S. All the best. Keep up the great work. Oh, this is Rob Schmeling. Coach. This is my... Guys, this is my high school lacrosse coach. And wow, Coach, man, it's good to see you here. So Coach Schmeling's been commenting on a lot of my my old or a lot of my posts on my Instagram and stuff like that. And I could tell he's a bourbon lover, obviously. And I remember, Coach, you called out my Michter's 10 bourbon. You're like, oh, that 10 years really good. So man, Coach, I hope we get to share a pour sometime. Anytime you're around, I'm down in German Village area. We gotta get together and share a pour, man. I hope you're doing well on your new gig and everything like that. So it's good to see you in here, man. Let me put you down for those super chats. I'm gonna put you in as Coach Schmeling now. Dang. You can't not call your former coach's coach anymore. You can't do it. I don't know if I can ever call you Rob, Coach Schmeling. nudes at the $50 tier. I don't know about that, man. That might be a higher tier than $50. You have to talk to Sarah. Honestly, I better get in better shape for the $50 tier. Damn, Tim. Wow. Aiden, lacrosse is definitely the white collar white boy sport. But yeah, I would say that was not necessarily my upbringing, the well-to-do part. I would say that's not exactly the upbringing, but that's okay. I understand the sentiment because I was definitely one of those lax bros for a while there, for better or worse. Okay. Well, I think we're good on super chats, guys. Moral of the story, yeah. Always pick up John J. Bowman when you see it. I think just buy one, buy two if you don't get it in your area very often. Oh, Aiden, I know, man. I know. It's all good. Jay, $100 tier to put it back on. Yeah, I'll sign up for that tier. I want to put it back on. Yeah. All right. Learned a lot tonight. The blind flight was cool, and I'm glad I did pretty well on that. Let me finalize these. Marie, I got you. One more entry. Let me throw that in there. Marie Parker. Thank you guys for supporting the channel this evening with the super chats. It's a cool giveaway. I'm excited to do it. I only have one backup of the small batch, and I was like, you know what? Let's just give this away tonight because, I just want to do it. So, you know what? Let's do 3 giveaways. Let's do 3. We'll do 2 sample packs and 1 bottle. So we're going to have 3 winners tonight. Let's do that. I'm going to check one more time to make sure I didn't miss any. Okay, so I think it's 35 entries plus my mom, which doesn't get an entry. That would be 36. I'm going to pull up random.com, and then I will share my screen with all of you, and you can watch me spin this. We're going to spin it 7 times, lucky number 7. So let me look this up, random.org. Allow all. Guys, every website asks for allow, like you're going to allow cookies. Yes. Can I just do yes all? All right, list randomizer. All righty. I've got them plugged in. Let me share my screen now. Remember, you've got to, can a mod, if Amy or if someone's in the house, can you put my email address in the chat again? drumsanddrams@gmail.com. That's where you need to send me an email. Let me know your name, your address, and what you won, and I will get that out to you. Usually it's by Monday of the following week. Okay. Screen share is there. That's the list, okay, of the chats right there. So we're going to spin this 7 times, and the top 3, 1, 2, 3, first winner gets E.H. Taylor small batch. 2 and 3, as long as they're not duplicates, are going to get sample packs. Here we go. 7 spins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here is the last spin. Boom. Top 3 on the list. We got Hendo winning the E.H. Taylor small batch. We've got Sugar Kitty winning a sample pack, and we've got Amy winning a sample pack. Let me write this down on my phone so I don't forget. Okay. Hendo is getting an EH. And then Amy and Sugar Kitty getting samples. Cool. So I'll send you guys some good stuff. Thank you all again for supporting the channel tonight. I know not everybody can be a winner, but I appreciate all of the support. I really, really do. So Hendo, I know I have your address somewhere, but if you could just send it to me again, that would be just helpful. I've got an Amy, same thing. I remember you maybe sent me 2 addresses last time and said either one works. Just shoot me one or both of those again. And then Sugar Kitty, I don't think I've ever sent anything your way. So, shoot me that information as well. You guys are funny. Okay. let me share with you one thing before we go. Okay, let me share with you one thing. I'm going to export this photo. My Photoshop is already pulled up on my other screen. Here, stop screen share. There we go. Let me export this photo real quick, and I'll show you guys what I'm thinking of. Actually, I'll show you two things. Because I think, for those of you who watch the channel regularly when I put out reviews, I think you'll be, just interested to maybe see kind of what I'm thinking behind the scenes here. My computer's having a hell of a time trying to stream and export from Photoshop. Okay. So I'll just do this. Just got to upload these real quick into the app that I'm on right now. There we go. drumsanddrams@gmail.com. So that's where we, guys send your stuff to. Even though I think I've mostly talked to the 3 winners, except for Sugar Kitty. There we go. This is what I want. So I'll export this now and show you guys what I'm thinking here. Okay. All right, for the 29 of you in here, I know some people just jumped in again. We're about to wrap up, but I'm showing you guys a little teaser of what I'm working on. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry it's taking so long. What am I going to have a sip of? Let's have a sip of Redemption 10-Year Rye. Orange soda in a glass. Cool. All right, I got that exported now, and I will put those in here as screen overlays. That's what I need. Cool. Marie says, good live and descriptions. Marie, I'm so sorry. I really appreciate you entering the super chats. I hope you'll tune back in for some of the future live streams and check out the reviews and everything. So I really appreciate it. Okay, guys, so check this out. I want to show you all this stuff. First, let me pull the banner down. All right, so first and foremost, the full reviews. The plan, like what I've been working on with the full reviews behind the scenes, first is a new intro sequence. I could still use the sequence from before. I think it's a fine intro sequence. It's just a little long, and I want something that's punchier, like 5 to 8 seconds. A little more hip, a little more kind of in a template. So that is a bigger project to get that together. It usually involves After Effects and different things in Premiere. But in terms of in-video stuff, I want to have what I'm calling right now a bottle breakdown, and it will be a sample breakdown for samples that are sent to me, and having things sequentially appear on screen. So let me show you. I think you can still hear my voice if I pull this up. So this is what it would look like for a Midwinter Night's Dram, right? And I know this doesn't look like much to you, but it wouldn't just be a picture in the background of the bottle. It would actually be B-roll, kind of like a hand shot B-roll thing with a little bit of motion on the bottle. If that looks a little too boring, depending on how long this would be up on the screen, then I could actually do some B-roll on the right side of the screen with the bottle. It could be a rotation. It could be a slight zoom. It could be stuff like that. And the age, the proof, the ABV, mash bill, all that will appear sequentially as I talk about them. And I'll just kind of list them off as opposed to going into too much detail so that this is not on the screen for more than 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds at the most. But I want to identify this information early on in my reviews. So that the idea is like, hey, I'm Cameron. Welcome to Drums and Drams. Today we're reviewing John J. Bowman. Intro sequence for 5 to 8 seconds. We go in. I say, I first learned about John J. Bowman at this point. It's this from Buffalo Trace, distilled a third time on a copper pot still, coming from Virginia, blah, blah, blah. Let's go to the bottle breakdown. Boom. We go bottle breakdown. there's a little motion in the clip behind there. All those stats start appearing as I talk about them. That's the idea, right? And then we go to the nose, taste, finish kind of dichotomy of the review. Along the way, there will be a little bit of B-roll inserted there, just to make it look pretty. And then at the end, I don't have it made yet, but I want to do sort of, Jason has a final breakdown for the mash and drum. I want to have something similar. I don't know what to call it. I can't call it the final breakdown, but final thoughts. Like, I want to have something at the end, and I'm still working on exactly what that's going to be. Now, the last thing I want to share with you guys is I've had this phrase in my head for a while, either the monthly dram or the weekly dram. And it's like an update sequence, obviously either by the month or by the week. And I didn't know what to do with it. I was like, man, maybe the monthly dram is something where I share my projects I'm working on for the channel, also in my music stuff. I thought that for a while. And then I was like, I don't know about that. That's a lot of work to make a big thing, a 10-minute video every month that's produced. No, I don't need more production to deal with. So then I just kind of shelved the idea. And now I'm at the point where I started thinking, like, what about the weekly dram? And making it something where I talk to my patrons about what's coming up for the week. Well, that's a decent idea, but I could just do video updates on the Patreon. And then I just started screwing around. I was watching Breaking Points, which is a news show online with Crystal and Sagar. I was watching this show and Sports Center too. And I was like, oh my God, I could do something like this, like a little news recap of every week, which is sort of like Bourbon Pursuits This Week in Bourbon. And it was not modeled after that at all. But this is the graphic I came up with. And I'll check in on the chat in a second. But the idea I came up with is to do a weekly recap over the weekend. So all the whiskey press releases that come out, the stuff I see on Instagram, pick like the top 4 to 6 items and just talk about them real quick on this program with this graphic I'm going to show you, and just add a little bit of my own thoughts to it. It'll probably end up being like 8 minutes each one, once a week on the weekends. This is what it would look like. All right, so it's a super generic thumbnail of me just sitting here. I know that. But the idea is like the weekly dram at the top. You get a little date action in the top left corner so everyone can be identified by date. Episode 1, episode 2, whatever. And then on the right side, you run down and things get highlighted yellow as you go topic to topic, just like you'd see on like a Sports Center. And each one, when you're there, is identified by that little whiskey glass on the side. So I can do these little, like 8-minute videos or whatever they end up being, going down the topics and kind of discussing like, Macallan, this is basically the one for this weekend that I'm thinking about. If I shoot it this weekend and I start this process, I would talk about the Macallan 81 year that they're putting out, the new Angels Envy Cellar release, Blue Run hiring Shaylin Gammon from Campari Group to be the new kind of whiskey advisor, Puncher's Chance partnering with the PFL as the official sponsor. And then at the very end, I would give channel updates for Drums and Drams, what's to come the next week or what I'm thinking about doing. So that's kind of my idea, right? It's like, and I thought about like kind of sticking it up a bit by wearing a full suit and a tie, just like you'd see on a news program, even though it's super tongue in cheek. I think it would be kind of hilarious, and to have a little stack of papers and to have my notes on paper instead of out here on my second monitor in front of me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Jay, yeah, I mean, it would be short. It would be a pretty short video. It would be like, here's the information from the press release. In case you missed this week's news and whiskey, here's a minute and a half on this. Talk about it for 60 seconds. Give my thoughts for 20. I think it's just a great idea. I really look forward to what they put out every year, blah, blah, blah. Okay, on to the next thing. And I think it'd be pretty cool. So that's kind of my idea. But, I'll do a couple. I'll do it for a month and see what the reaction's like. I know people might be like, what the hell is this? That's cool. I understand that. But if there's a decent positive reception, I'll probably keep it up. And all of that in my head is moving towards the goal of a Drums and Drams podcast down the road. I've already had a music podcast. I know how to do it. I think, my interview skills, conversation skills for that kind of a medium, I've worked on a lot, and I've been wanting to do something like that. So maybe down the road that becomes a reality. But you know, Daniel, I think so too, man. I like, for me, it's like like you can get on Fred Minnick's site and look at his blog, and there's a lot of press releases, and a lot of them I don't care about. But some of them are like, oh, I wouldn't have seen, excuse me, I wouldn't have seen that anywhere else. And so, you know, that's important. That's important. I don't need to talk about Green River Distilling, but this is important. And so me every week, basically on a Saturday morning, distilling the information down, finding my favorites, recording it sometime Saturday. It doesn't need to be very produced because, honestly, I just need that on-screen graphic, make a couple video cuts as I go, nice and easy, and then put it out on a Sunday, and then Monday the news starts again, and I'm keeping track of what's going on through that week. So, DC, I actually own a teleprompter, but I don't use it. It's just too much of a hassle to use it. But wouldn't that be fun? It's like a Ron Burgundy thing. Someone else write the script, and I just get on and read it live. That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. Aiden, don't tell me that. I've never owned a George T. Stagg. I've only ever had 2 samples of it. So I'm going to do it, Jay. And I want to do it this weekend. I think I'm going to start. So I'll get on my polka dot tie, my black jacket, and I'll do the whole thing. Okay, guys, giveaway's done. The stream is pretty much wrapped up. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. It was a little bit of a longer one. You know, whatever. I appreciate all of you being here. I'm going to work to get Matt Porter, Nancy Fraley, Jack Begadou from the Hood Sommelier on here. And that's kind of the plan. And of course, I'm going to ask Trev Wilson to come back ASAP because we have the best hangs on these live streams. Yeah, I guess I got to get the phrasing right on how I go about that, you know, with the weekly dram. Yeah, Jay, I am a band geek. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to say good night with, let me find it. That's the one. I think that's the one. E.H. Taylor Single Barrel 2019. So cheers, guys. I'll see you soon. Be on the lookout. I'm going to get a quick sip out first, and then the 2020 King of Kentucky review will come out as a full review with some of these extra features I've been mentioning from the videos that I've been working on. And then after that, we're kind of off to the races again. But thankfully, I've got all my video stuff back together and it's working. So cheers, guys. I will see you soon. Yeah, have a good rest of your week. What's the next live stream? Let me think. Am I doing one Sunday? I might be doing one Sunday. Let me check my phone. Am I doing one Sunday? I'm doing a live stream Sunday from 4 to 5. Or 4 to 5, whatever. At 4 o'clock on Sunday, I'm doing a live stream. So come hang out. I don't know what I'm doing yet. See you guys.